The Bad Batch Season 2 episodes 15 and 16. This is the two-part finale, and you guys are going to have to bear with me on this review here, this slight review, more of a review than just a breakdown. I usually kind of quickly go through the episode, but you have to bear with me here. It is like 4:30 a.m. right now as I'm finally getting through Mando and this, and I just kind of want to quickly cover the episode, not just very, very quickly, just kind of recap it real quick. Not go into too much detail, but I do want to give my thoughts as well. It's why I want to make it quick. So the Bad Batch is a two-parter. I'm just going to talk about it like it's one episode. So the first episode is episode 15, the summit, where it's like the big summit meeting, and then episode 16, which is Plan 99. So these are basically one big episode again in general. So we're basically at this point where the new Doctor villain guy is meeting up with Tarkin. So Tarkin is having this big meeting with higher Imperials, and they're going to talk about their different plans. You have Krennic there. You have different people. I don't know if we've seen the other people, but we do have Krennic from Rogue One there, and they do mention the whole Stardust, Death Star thing for a moment. But that was just like a little Easter egg, I suppose. But they have Tarkin there, so he's finally back on the show. And then we have this new Doctor who's trying to explain a little bit of his cloning experiments and how important it is to Palpatine. So we got this whole table here. You can see Krennic there on the left. He's literally just like a little cameo for this episode. He seems to cameo. It kind of makes sense. They throwing in a little Rogue One thing. It didn't really seem needed, but it's just another like a little mention and a little nod to the Death Star stuff. That's fine. I don't know if we're gonna really ever see that thing on this show, which we don't really need to. But the Bad Batch, they essentially need to track down where these clones are and where Crosshair is and where this big facility is. So they find out that this Doctor is on this summit meeting, and they're gonna go to his ship, and they're gonna go and try to track it, put a tracker on it, so they know where he goes. That's their mission. So they have to infiltrate this base. They hitch a ride on this train car thing on this wire. They get on inside. They got the Doctor explaining his plans. As I mentioned, he's going to explain how important it is to the Emperor and what this whole mission is that he's doing with his cloning, and how it's very important for the Emperor. Now, we never really learn what is so important about this cloning thing for the Emperor. One could maybe theorize that they are trying to lead to the sequel trilogy with all of his cloning crap they did in episode 9, the movie episode 9. So I don't know, but they're doing a lot of cloning crap right now. We'll see where it goes, but right now it's a very important thing that Palpatine wants going on. There's lots of cloning stuff going on at this Tantus place, and that's kind of what this guy has been tasked with. While the Bad Batch are on the facility trying to reach this Doctor's ship to put a tag on it, they run into Saw Gerrera, because why not, right? Why not just toss this guy in here, throw a wrench into all their plans? It seems the only thing Saw Gerrera is good for now is to literally just throw a wrench in all of the normal Rebels plans. He's got to be this outlandish guy. So Saw Gerrera just hasn't shown up in this show since like the beginning of season 1. Just randomly shows up hidden under Stormtrooper armor, and he's there to just blow up the facility because, screw the Empire, right? The Empire's bad. That's literally all he's there to do, is just cause havoc. And it just ends up causing havoc for the Bad Batch, because the Bad Batch are in there trying to do a completely different type of mission, and that is to find out where this Doctor's going to go, while Saw Gerrera is just trying to blow everything up. That is not in the Bad Batch's favor, and it's really annoying to just see them just randomly throw this in just to cause like a random plot thing to happen, which leads to something later. It's really silly, and they don't do anything later with Saw either. They just bring him in to blow stuff up for like 2 or 3 minutes. It's super strange. So ultimately, they all escape. The Bad Batch get away on one of those train things, like the train car, like wire things again, and Saw Gerrera and his buddy or whatever, they both leave on a ship and they escape, but they blow it up. So they blow up all their thermal detonators or whatever that they placed around the facility. They blow up the facility, or at least a significant portion of it. And it leaves the train cars to basically malfunction, and the power has gone out. So now they're stuck on this thing, and that's where the first episode ended. The second episode ended with Tarkin's all pissed off now that there's there's people infiltrating the Imperial facility, and they're creating havoc and whatnot. And Saw Gerrera's plan has now got the Bad Batch stuck on this rail thing with these other stormtroopers and another another one, and they're now stuck there while the Imperials are shooting at them. They're bringing in these new TIE fighter things that they have. It's the first version of them, and they're stuck, and they have to get out before the Empire basically gets them. And you can just see the few shots of Tarkin when they cut back to them. They explain to him what's going on. Tarkin's really pissed. You can just tell how pissed off he is. He's just really getting sick and tired of it, and he's very, very determined to stop these infiltrators. And he's, once again showing the Imperial thing where they don't really care about the expendable forces. They're willing to take out troopers to blow up and get rid of the Bad Batch as well on this wire rail thing. So they send Tech out, and Tech runs across the rail thing, across the cars, and he needs to make it to a circuit area where he can, reattach the Bad Batch's thing after it kind of gets blown off, and the power, he needs to reattach the power, turn the power back on so they can get off this thing. And this is what Plan 99 means. So I got here very quick, but this is the one big significant thing that happens in this episode. And Tech on the Bad Batch, Tech is dead. Tech falls off the Bad Batch after their cart basically starts to tumble off, and he is causing too much weight pulling down on their cart, so that he realizes that he needs to shoot himself off with his wire that he's trying to hang on to get back up, but he couldn't get back up. And he realizes that he needs to release himself so that the weight is, fixed, and then they can release back up and keep on moving on instead of falling off altogether. So he basically is trying to save all of the Bad Batch at once. So that's kind of what happens here. He's sacrificing himself to save them all. That's how it goes. It kind of makes sense considering all of these significant moments we've had with Tech in Season 2. It is unfortunate because Tech is one of my favorite Bad Batch members for sure. After Crosshair, he's definitely my second favorite. I'm sure at this point now, Crosshair is definitely going to make his way back because they've now killed one of the Bad Batch members. At least as of right now, we have no reason to believe he's alive throughout the rest of the episodes. So Tech is currently dead, and now he is the first member of the Bad Batch to die. And Crosshair, I think he will make his way back to the Batch now at some point, but it's very, very sad to see Tech go. It was a somewhat emotional scene. The way the season's gone and how this episode in general just kind of felt like a basic mission, and it didn't feel super important. I didn't feel like that much, but it does suck to see him go, and it will be unfortunate to see the show go forward probably without him. Really cool character, and I'm really glad that we got some cool moments with him in Season 2. But yeah, super unfortunate to see his character go, but I'm sure if they do it right, which you never know with this show, if they do it right, it can really build on further development for the different characters. So I mean, I get it. A death in the the Bad Batch kind of makes sense. Clones die a lot in the Clone Wars. Clones dying in this show makes sense too. So it is what it is, and they make it off. The rail cart reattaches. They shoot off. They kind of get off on a bumpy ride, but they make it off. And Omega's kind of hurt, and the Bad Batch with Echo, Hunter, and Wrecker, they all need. She's in this hazy. We get this hazy first person look of her vision of what's going on, and they need to make it back to the Marauder so they can escape and get away from the Empire. And their mission kind of failed because Saw Gerrera's explosion basically blew up the area, so his ship that they were trying to reattach this tracker on, the Doctor's ship, it just blew up. They blew everything up, so their whole mission was a failure. They literally could not even find out where this facility is, so their whole plan on finding out where the facility is with Crosshair was a total dud. It didn't even work, and Tech died with it. So that's very, very unfortunate. But it's kind of like a good guys lose type of thing in this finale, and it's kind of cool to see the good guys lose for once and the bad guys kind of win. It's always something we don't get that often, but that seems to be the kind of scenario here. Is Tech died, they didn't get their mission successful, and we're on to this. So Omega awakes, and Hunter is there greeting her you're okay, you're awake. And then Omega realizes that Tech has died. But guess where they went back to? Oh my god, dude. This does seem to be the final resolution of the entire Sid arc. I think it's done after this. I don't think we'll see her ever again. I think we're just done with her at this point. Hopefully. But the Bad Batch go back to Sid or Mantell because it's the one place where their droid AZ was. So they had to go back to the droid to get help for Omega. So there is Sid they're back at Sid's place again, and last time we saw Sid, she was very much not happy with the Bad Batch because they kind of abandoned her. So you know where this is going to go. Sid calls the Empire. So the Empire, the commandos and the Dr. Guy are there, and they infiltrate her. They get into her bar. They take Wrecker and Hunter captive, basically. They is caught off guard, and Sid looks super guilty. Oh no, so sad. I hope she never gets seen again in this show. I don't want to see her again. She could just go away. We already knew this was going to happen if they came back to this character, that she is just a not trustworthy character, and it seemed very, very just not super exciting as maybe I thought it could be with her character. It's just like, wow, she ratted them out to the Empire. Shocker. So I hope we're done with her. I'm sick and tired of seeing that character. I'm beyond sick and tired of that character, and I just hope we can move on from there. So the Empire is there on Ord Mantell, and they are trying to find Omega. Before Hunter got captured with Wrecker, he sent Omega to go off and hide away because he doesn't want her captured. So Omega ultimately comes up with her own silly plan to try and stop the Imperials and kind of create a distraction while Echo is going to come and try to help. But ultimately Omega fails because of course she does. She gets captured by the Empire, gets knocked out. Hunter and Wrecker actually escape with Echo's help as Echo takes control of one of their walkers. He takes control of it, blows up a few troopers, kind of creates a distraction. Hunter, Wrecker get away. So the main batch that are left are now free and escaping. They get back to the ship, and they say they have to get Omega back. They have to get her back because they got Omega. Okay, whatever. So they got Omega. We're going back to the Tantus place, and we see Omega reunited with Nala Se. So Nala Se and Omega finally seeing each other again, basically since the premiere of the show, I believe. I don't think they've really interacted since then. It's been a while, and that is kind of where the story ends up being. Omega is kind of brought into this facility with these weird clones and these tubes and stuff. Once again, kind of reminds me of that stuff in Mando Season 2, and we're doing a lot of cloning stuff, and this is why I keep thinking we might just end up leading into this weird sequel crap. I hope we don't, but it is coming at some point. So while Omega's there, she does run into Crosshair, and Crosshair ultimately just has no role in this final two episodes, which is super unfortunate. They let it, thinking he would be in those last two, considering what they had in the episode before, but he just was... He's captured and he's just kind of not awake. He's been, tortured with and all that stuff, and they're just poking and prodding with Crosshair, and that's it. He's not really even part of the episode at all. We see him for a moment, that's it. It's super unfortunate. Not much Crosshair this season. Hopefully, though, he goes back to the Batch in the next season and actually is part of the Bad Batch again, considering we just lost Tech. And then the episode ends with the most they play it off like it's supposed to be like the biggest reveal in the world. Like, oh my god, I can't believe it. So this Dr. Lady that's been on this Tantus place with her goggles on and all that crap, she's been there. She was interrogating Crosshair and all that stuff, and this is supposed to be some sort of big reveal at the end where she takes off her goggles. Apparently that's supposed to tell us something, and she tells Omega, like, you should trust me because I'm basically your sister. So she's a clone, and that's it. That's how the episode ends. That's our cliffhanger for Bad Batch Season 2, is this random lady I don't give a damn about saying she's a clone too. Oh my god, another clone. And I honestly don't even care that much for Omega yet. I'm going to be real. I don't care that much for Omega's character yet. They haven't done much with her yet. So maybe they'll do it at some point. I don't know what they're going to do. But I felt nothing when I saw this reveal. It was super, super lame. And it does not have me wanting to see Season 3 any more than I would have with like some big Crosshair thing or something. Like this was a very... very bland cliffhanger for Season 2. But these two episodes were definitely better than we've had in the Season 2. We've had a lot of duds in Season 2, but these were definitely better than a lot of those. It was a pretty good 2-episode story here, but it really just didn't tell us much. It didn't get into the whole big cloning thing all too much. Crosshair was non-existent, and ultimately, I'm just not super satisfied with the finale, even though it works. It can work. Ultimately, it does fit well. but I'm not super satisfied with it. And season 3, I've got nothing to go on for season 3 to really look forward to. Maybe Crosshair coming back and all that stuff, but this whole cloning story, they didn't give us enough for me to really care yet. And season 2 of the Bad Batch, a weird rocky ride overall, and this reveal at the end is a big nothing burger to me right now. I don't care about it. It is insignificant to me. So the cloning stuff, it's going really big in Bad Batch. Tech has died. Crosshair did nothing, and the Bad Batch are all sad again. They are the sad batch once again. So Bad Batch season 2, I think season 1 was better. I know a lot of people disagree. We've had some really good episodes in season 2, but I think season 2 was a little worse than 1. Hopefully season 3 will be better, but I honestly don't know what to expect at this point with Disney and Lucasfilm. It's very, very much conflicting wild ride with their Star Wars stuff. A lot of it's been iffy lately, and yeah, so that is my quick breakdown and thoughts of the Bad Batch season 2 two-part finale. I think it could have been better, but it was serviceable for what we've gotten, and it's serviceable for what we kind of set up through the season, and it's really, really just set up for a bigger season 3 cloning story, and that's all I can really say about it is RIP Tech, and that's about it. I hope we see more Crosshair, but Bad Batch season 2, it's done, and on to season 3 whenever they give it to us.